Today, I'm going to talk about eating out without blowing your progress and without feeling like you've blown all of the good progress that you have made, because you should be able to enjoy food. You should be able to go out and enjoy yourself socially whilst on a calorie deficit and whilst working towards weight loss goals. So, common mistakes. I'm going to go through these quickly first, then I'm going to lead on to some things that we should be doing before I talk about those in more detail. Common mistakes that I see with many people, also with clients, is mostly surrounding the mindset incorrectly. So you'll see that all of these here link strongly into the mindset surrounding eating out and also just nutrition in general. So eating healthy and hoping for the best. So if you are aiming to lose body fat, lose weight, build muscle, then you need to be on top of knowing what you are putting into your body. So even if you think you are eating healthy, but you don't know how much you are consuming, both in your daily life and within your meals out, you can often end up eating too much for what you actually need. So, for example, think of it as in, you wouldn't buy something without knowing how much it costs and how much money you have. If you did do something like that, you would end up in debt and having issues. It's exactly the same thing when it comes to food. It's a good baseline to have when it comes to calorie counting, knowing what it looks like and making sure you're on top of that to help you make better choices. Giving up before you've even started. So many people throw in the towel before they even get to the event because they want to avoid facing up to the fact that they don't have the right mindset, and also they just want to avoid the whole idea of tracking because they think that's going to make their life much more difficult. You don't have to track every single meal, but once you have that good baseline, then it's going to make future events much more enjoyable and also your whole lifestyle much more sustainable. So think about it in this way, in that it's a learning point, learning what is a reasonable amount to eat out, still enjoy and still also see progress towards your goals. Slashing your tires just because you had one flat. So just because you caved once doesn't mean you need to keep on caving again and again. And this applies to just one meal. For example, if you're sat around the table, they got prawn crackers in the middle and you have a couple and you think, oh, I wasn't going to have any of those, so I may as well just keep going now. It all just comes back to being conscious about your purpose behind the meal and the purpose behind your nutrition. There is a middle ground here. You don't need to avoid eating out, and also you don't need to just be completely reckless every time you do, because you feel like you're having one slip up, so you may as well just carry on. So when it comes to the mindset, we need to change how we think about approaching these meals before, during and after. So instead of thinking, no, I can't have that, think, I'm choosing to do this. And remember, it's all a choice. I'm choosing to go out and have this meal out and enjoy it because I want to spend time with my family and friends and enjoy a nice meal out with them without having to worry about what I'm putting into my body. Or I'm choosing not to have that today because I want to make sure that I am making better choices for myself. So it's all a choice. Let's go through some steps to success now, and then I'll go through each one in detail. Make sure you have a plan of attack. Nail the rest of your nutrition. Eat before you go. Drink your water. And lastly, be selective. So let's dive into these a little bit deeper. Having a plan of attack is really important because then you know how to structure the rest of your week. For example, if you know that you want to go out for a meal on a Saturday, then you can plan out the rest of your week and nail your nutrition, which we'll get to in the next step. That also doesn't mean that you need to starve yourself that day or during the rest of the week or afterwards to make up for the fact that you enjoyed yourself, which is what we should be able to do. And also so you can have the right attitude and mindset towards it, so you don't then either avoid social events because you're worried about them, or you just splurge on social events because you go back to that mistake mindset where you think, well, I've done it now, I may as well just carry on. So planning is really important, so you can now tick this one off of nailing your other nutrition. So your other meals are the meals that you're personally cooking for yourself during the week or before or after your meal out. You need to make sure you're on top of this because you don't want to end up in a calorie surplus just because you think that you're eating healthy, and also so then you can plan in any adjustments to your nutrition as well. So for example, planning ahead and focusing on having something high protein and perhaps lowering the carbs and the fats ahead of time gives yourself a bit more flexibility during your meal out. This is because most meals out that we have at restaurants, even ones that are to be considered more healthy, are often more loaded up with carbs and fats rather than protein. So lowering those throughout the week and getting your calories in through high protein may be a really good way to make sure that you can fully enjoy yourself and give yourself that flexibility and freedom of enjoying the meal out. Eating before you go. So another couple of mistakes here, which relates back to the mindset we talked about earlier. Don't starve yourself beforehand. You don't need to do that. And also don't overdo then your other meals when it comes to the whole I'm eating healthy mindset. So don't starve yourself before. Being hungry is going to put you in a poor mood. Remember that meals are also a social event. You'll probably turn up in a bad mood. You'll be in a rush to get food ordered. You may make choices that you wouldn't normally make when you are satisfied, and then making those different choices to what you were expecting can lead to feelings of guilt and frustration because you couldn't stick to the plan, puts you in perhaps an even worse mood, and therefore you don't enjoy the meal and you also don't enjoy the social event, which is a real shame. Then when it comes to not overdoing your other meals, when it comes to eating on the day, don't just eat plain old chicken breast and maybe a protein shake because you're only focusing on the protein. Just have a more moderate approach and have a small protein dense but enjoyable meal right before you go out. Because if you've enjoyed the meal before you go out, your hunger levels are going to be down, but also you are still satisfied. You're not just fed up with constantly eating dry chicken breast and only protein shakes. So then again, you're just going to make better choices when you are out, because we should be enjoying our nutrition throughout, right? And both of these are going to take your hunger levels down and allow you to make better decisions whilst focusing on the people around you and the environment as much as the food itself. Drink your water. Dehydration symptoms can often be confused with hunger. So aim for those 2 litres a day that we should be drinking anyway. And even if you choose to order a drink with your meal, get some tap water as well and drink some water before you have your meal so that you can enjoy your meal, have your drink, and not have any of those issues with confusing hunger symptoms with dehydration. The other thing to just keep in mind is that if you are choosing to have a drink, that drinks can have calories too. That's just something else to keep in mind, and again, a great reason to plan ahead. Are you going to choose to have a drink on that night, or are you going to choose not to drink so you can enjoy more food, for example? Be selective. So again, comes all back round to planning ahead. Know your options, and think about why you are there. The social aspect is there as much as enjoying the good food. So for example, eat what you are there for. I've used this example of Pizza Express because I just want to highlight a few things. If I was going to Pizza Express, unless I really liked salad, I would want to have a pizza, right? So think about the restaurant that you're going to and the reason that you've chosen that restaurant. Don't go, for example, to your favorite pizza restaurant and feel like you can't have pizza. And and then choose a thing that you want and adapt around it. All comes back to planning ahead. And I just also want to highlight here, for example, this is on the salad option of the Pizza Express menu. You'd think because it's chicken and it's salad, it's going to be a healthier option. But again, it comes back around to, why are you there at that restaurant? Why are you having that meal? Is that actually what you fancy? Then if we look at, if we are tracking calories, that's 841 calories. I've gone to a pizza restaurant, so I want pizza. So you can actually have the thing that you want. I've chosen the margarita just to highlight the fact that it is actually less calories than having this slightly healthier option, which comes back to thinking you're eating healthy but not actually knowing what you are putting into your body. And then lastly, just thinking about other options, lower calorie option would be to have one of, forgive my pronunciation, Leggera pizzas, which are a lower calorie option. So you're still having pizza if you don't want to go all out, if you want to choose not to go all out on having a pizza. The last thing I just want to touch on is just as important as everything I've just been through, is what happens after, so that you can continue the cycle of progress and also success. So after you've, for example, after you've been out, if you have a hard time like getting back on track or reeling it back in, it's likely that your usual diet is too strict and perhaps you need to look at modifying it. Feelings aren't facts, and despite the fact that you may feel like you blew your progress, you may feel fat, or you may feel like you've messed everything up after eating out, then there's a 99% chance you didn't, and you're probably stressing when you don't need to. The worst reaction as well that you can have to having a meal out or going off plan is to try and then undo the meal. For example, cutting more calories on the next day, or adding in extra workouts, or working out extra hard. This is an ineffective and also like an impatient attitude and mindset towards this that then causes a negative relationship with diet and exercise, and then again is not a sustainable way to approach achieving your goals and achieving continuous progress. So I hope that helps. Any questions, just ask, and I'll speak to you soon.